Well, let's keep moving along to this concept of real-time tracking. With RFID, a lot of people do refer to tracking capabilities that will give them real-time visibility, and I'll quote, real-time visibility into the movement of their assets. But with certain RFID technologies, that may or may not be the case, speak to that and help us understand, particularly with the kind of technologies that we're talking about here. What does real time really mean?
Yeah, and to be clear, today Peter and I are talking exclusively about passive UHF RFID, passive RFID tags. And with that technology, in many circumstances, it is capable, it is possible to achieve essentially a real-time locating system, depending on the square footage of the facility we're talking about and the types of goods we're talking about. But with fixed RFID readers and antennas, throwing enough RF at, a warehouse or a shelf full of stock, you can continuously read these items on a periodic basis, whatever makes sense for your business requirement, whether it's every second, every hour, 4 times a day, whatever it may be. And then the back-end system will reflect that these items have been inventoried on those periodic occasions, and you can see that the assets are where they're supposed to be. And you can also set up alerts and application level events so that if the item is moved and it's not inventoried for a certain period of time, you can be notified of that fact, and then you can understand that the item's been moved. With setting up choke points and portals as pallets in a warehouse are moving through a doorway or an overhead door onto or coming off of a truck in an 18-wheeler trailer, the assets can be read as they move through, and the staff in the facility doesn't have to do any additional work. They don't have to be thinking about doing things differently than they do today. They can continue to do things as they do, and now we're getting all this electronic data about the movement of assets. We have a complete electronic record of where things went, when they went, etc.
Let's talk about a military example for real time. And I know, at A2B here, significant amount of our deployments are within these very challenging military environments. Talk about one of an RFID installation in a military scenario to relate this kind of the real-time concept, or what they would expect to be, real visibility into the movement of critical items.
Yeah, we've done work in military armories to track weapons and other assets, NVGs, scopes, radios, etc. And the challenge that the armories were having is that as shifts change, and the custodian in the armory one is leaving a shift, one's coming on a shift, there was a desire to inventory the entire armory, however large it may be, so that we can have a complete accountability for the assets that are in the armory and assets that have been checked out. And doing that in a manual fashion or with a barcode solution was just too time consuming, and they were not able to achieve that level of detail. And so there was a lot of discrepancies when assets were missing or couldn't be accounted for, who really was the responsible party. And with the RFID technology implemented with the mobile RFID capability, they were able to inventory all of the weapons cages in a very short time, 10 or 15 minutes. So as the shifts were changing, the custodians could change. We knew everything that was in the inventory as an individual shift started. And then at the portal windows where the weapons are checked in and checked out, they were set up with fixed readers and antennas. So as, again, things went in or out of the armory, that was captured electronically. And again, in the back end, we have an electronic record of who, what, and when, and where items came and went and we have a full reporting capability, so we can see all of the movements and how long things are checked out, who checked them out, who they were checked out to, etc.